Welcome to Kansas Ag Report with your host, Ryan Hallman.
Welcome to Kansas Ag Report. I'm Brian Holman, and here's our lineup for today's show. In Ag News, we'll take a look at local and national headlines affecting Kansas farmers. In our Ag Feature, we talk with Barb Downey of Downey Ranch about national market trends in the beef industry. And Inside Kansas Ag, Kansas Soybean gives us an update, and Farm Bureau talks to us about mental health options for farmers and ranchers. And in News You Need to Know, we get our weekly update from the Kansas Livestock Association. We'll look back at last week's market activity with the guys from Paragon, and we'll let you know about important events coming up around the state of Kansas. Glad you could join us.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Weed Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com. Kansas Livestock Association, supporting our members' business interests to meet consumers' demands. KLA.org.
Here's our national headlines for this week in Ag News. The banned pesticide sulfoxaflor can be used to treat sorghum in more states. EPA granted exemptions for use of the chemical in Arkansas, Kansas, Louisiana, Oklahoma, and Tennessee. Previously, only Texas farmers could legally use the pesticide on sorghum. Sulfoxaflor was taken off the market when a federal appeals court reversed EPA's approval of the pesticide upon finding the agency had not properly assessed its risks to bees. The annual consumer survey conducted by the International Food Information Council found while only 22% of surveyed consumers may have a favorable view of genetically engineered crops, it also shows consumers don't rate GE labeling as a high priority. Only 1 in 6 consumers surveyed said they wanted more information on food labels, and only 20% of that small number said they wanted to know more about GE crops. The U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Service and the Department of State have announced actions to speed up the processing of H-2A visas for immigrant farm labor. The visa process allows farmers to temporarily bring the labor necessary into the U.S. for planting and harvesting crops. Groups say it's too early to tell if the new system is working, but a representative of one labor group says if USCIS can do its part of processing jobs in 10 days or less, then we're okay. In 2015, growers requested over 145,000 worker visas nationally, and the Department of Labor approved 139,832 of them. And in local news, honeybee colonies for operations with 5 or more colonies in Kansas totaled 4,700 as of January 1st of 2016. This is a 2% rise above the number reported January 1st of 2015. Honeybee colonies lost for operations during the quarter of January through March 2016 was 980 colonies, or 21% lost. The quarter of October through December 2015 had a loss of 3,400 colonies, or 40%, the highest honeybee colonies loss of the most recent 5 quarters. Governor Sam Brownback issued a statement following an announcement that the 2016 American Royal Barbecue will be held at the Kansas Speedway. We are pleased to welcome the largest barbecue competition in the world to one of the best venues in the region, said Brownback. Competitors and guests will enjoy the hospitality of our state as the 2016 American Royal Barbecue competition comes to the Kansas Speedway in October. The American Royal Barbecue will be held October 26th through the 30th. The gradual slowing of the farm economy is outlined in a new report from the Kansas City Federal Reserve. Omaha branch economist Courtney Cowley says further increase in farm debt are a growing concern in the Fed's 10th district. We're not quite ready to say the sky is falling, but most of the indicators were down during the fourth quarter of 2015 when comparing them to the fourth quarter of 2014. The one positive, Cowley says, is that farm loan delinquency rates continue to remain historically low. Bankers are starting to increase collateral requirements and use more Farm Service Agency loan guarantees to offset some of the previous risk. Kansas is part of the 10th District. Up next in our Ag Feature, we talk with Barb Downey of Downey Ranch about national market trends in the beef industry. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. Please stay tuned. If you would like to advertise your business on Kansas Ag Report, give us a call, 785-580-3287.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Weed Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for weeds. Online at kswheat.com.
Kansas Beef. Celebrate beef all May during Beef Month.
Spring is here, and Premier Farm and Home can help you stop crabgrass before it starts. With a 6-month residual, Premier has what you need to protect your lawn all season long. Premier Farm and Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
Spring is sprung, and Premier Farm and Home has what you need to keep your yard crabgrass free throughout the season. With a complete line of pre-emergence, you can stop crabgrass before it starts. Premier Farm and Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
Thanks for staying with us this morning. We're out at the Downey Ranch over in Wabaunsee, and we're actually joined by Barb Downey. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
A couple of things I got to get out of the way before we get started. First, sorry to hear about your dad. He's a fantastic man, just a great man here in the state of Kansas. I know everybody in the ag community is sorry, and we feel sorry for your loss. And also your health.
Thank you.
We're glad that you are healthy and upright, and you're doing great.
Yep, this time a year ago was a different story.
It was a different story.
I'm glad to be back in the saddle, literally and figuratively.
There you go. Are you running still? Are you getting your runs in?
I'm starting that back up again. I'm walking, but we're not quite. We don't have the running built up quite again. Well, but we'll get there.
I know everybody's cheering for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Coming off the Kansas Beef Council, you're coming off as off the council as the chair of the council. Is that correct? How was that experience for you?
It was a great experience. You know, we as producers contribute every time a beef animal changes hands, and then this is our way as producers to have a say in how those dollars are spent on the state level especially, and then what we do with some of those dollars that go on to national. So it was an honor to serve with that group of people. You've got some of the best minds in the beef business in Kansas serving on that council with you, and I think we do a really good job for the fellow producers in Kansas of spending our beef checkoff dollars wisely.
And not only that, I think most people know, who've watched the show before, is there $1 per head goes to the Beef Council. Beef Council in turn sends that money to the federal level and uses some on the local level. Talking about the federal level or national level, you just got appointed to a new board on the federal level.
Right, the Beef Promotions Operating Committee, and that is a group of 20 people that are charged with administering the checkoff spending and authorizing of funds, checkoff related spending. 10 of us come from the Federation of State Beef Councils, and that is my appointment, and 10 come from the Cattlemen's Beef Board. And these are folks from all over the United States in all facets of the industry and from all backgrounds.
And not only that, that money goes towards research and, you know, adding more cuts of beef to the lean category, marketing and promotion and things like that. Is that kind of how that's set up?
Exactly. Anything that can help improve consumer demand and confidence in beef.
And I want to make sure I have this right, because Kevin's standing behind the camera over here. I want to make sure 35 cents of our dollar goes to the federal level.
Well, so a checkoff dollar collected in Kansas, 50 cents of that goes on to the national level, and then Kansans contribute an additional 35 cents on to the national level. We are a huge beef producing state. We collect a lot of checkoff dollars. And then consumers in Kansas, there's just not as many as there are, maybe, for example, on the coast or something like that. And then we tend to be beef eaters. So as Kansans, we made that decision. We were better off sending additional funds to the national level so that could be spent in national efforts.
Perfect. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to finish up with Barb Downey out at the Downey Ranch. You're watching Kansas Ag Report. We'll see you in a minute.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. Grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Thanks for staying with us. We're out at the Downey Ranch over in Wabaunsee, and Barb, thanks for staying with us. Kevin and I kind of talked about this, but you being a producer, it really hits home to the consumers who watch the show is the handling and the welfare of the animals that you guys have. I mean, you have 500 or 600 head of cattle here, maybe more, and the care that you and your family put into those animals is remarkable.
It's paramount. It's what we take great pride in doing. It is the foundation for producing a safe and wholesome product. We try to make sure that everything that we do to that animal is approved, is coordinated with our veterinarian, and then when we're handling these animals, we try to make sure that we're doing it in the most safe and humane and low stress way possible, because we want to make sure we're taking the best care possible of all of our animals.
Well, not only that, we talk about low stress handling. 25 years ago or even 30 years ago, low stress was maybe having a six-pack before you went out and worked the cattle. Now it is a term used to the way you handle the cattle, which is not a lot of noise, not a lot of shocks and some other stuff. It's a science nowadays.
It is. It's a science and it's an art. So it's learning how to understand that animal and read what they're telling you and make sure what you are telling them in return is something that they understand and respond to. And the cattle working barn, we were just AIing, artificially inseminating some cows this morning. It was as quiet as it could be. The animals are not vocalizing, we're not vocalizing, and it's just a real low stress, quiet, and easy way to work those animals. It's just beautiful when it's running.
Well, not only that, low stress ensures a happy, healthy, and productive animal.
Yes, it does.
And not only that, working with your veterinarian, because I know you, as well as all the producers here in the state of Kansas, want to make sure that if you are using antibiotics, that you are using them in an approved manner and judiciously.
Right. We work with our veterinarian on treatment protocols. So if we have something that is presenting to us and we think has a respiratory infection, then we use what input we have from the animal, temperature and behavior and all of that, and then our veterinarian has helped us develop treatment protocols for that. So we'll treat that animal appropriately. We're recording what we're doing so we make sure we observe withdrawals, and we're following BQA procedures for administering any antibiotics that we might use so that we ensure there are never a residue problem for a consumer.
Soybean farmers welcome a report issued May 17 by the National Academies of Sciences Board on Agriculture and Natural Resources that points to the safety and benefits of genetically modified organisms, with specific regard to their economic and environmental effects. The report, titled Genetically Engineered Crops, Experiences and Prospects, reviewed a broad range of studies and confirmed there are no adverse health effects associated with GMOs. A committee of 20 scientists reaffirmed what health and safety officials have said for 2 decades: GMOs are safe. They provide significant benefits for farmers, helping manage insects and weeds, reducing inputs, and doing it with no risk to people or animals. The in-depth report hopefully will move the conversation about GMOs to the next chapter. The report also points to the significant scientific advances in plant breeding. Farmers can benefit from those technologies only if they continue to have access to them. The Academy's report is a positive step, and farmers hope those in charge of approving new breeding techniques and getting them to market as soon as possible will take note. You can learn more at nas-sites.org/GE-crops on the web.
In support of Mental Health Awareness Month, I would like to take a moment to talk to you about mental health. Many of the factors that affect agriculture production are largely beyond the control of you, the producer. Good health, including mental health, is a key factor that contributes to one's ability to keep farming. According to recent studies, 20% of any population has mental health complications, and that certainly includes farmers and ranchers. Stigma and privacy concerns associated with mental health issues may mean that many people do not seek out mental health services. Symptoms of poor mental health include such things as persistent worry and fear, apprehension and uneasiness, avoiding others, feeling sad, significant weight change or changes in appetite, problems sleeping, low energy, difficulty concentrating, frequent thoughts of death or suicide, substance misuse, and unexplained changes in physical appearance or behavior. If you have any of these symptoms, consider talking to your healthcare provider about a further assessment. When you speak to your healthcare provider, be open about stressful issues in your work and home life. Be familiar with your family's medical history related to depression. Make sure they have an updated list of any prescription and over-the-counter medications you take, and be aware of what your insurance coverage may or may not be for evaluation of mental health care. Above all, if you or someone you know is contemplating suicide, please call 1-800-SUICIDE or dial 911 immediately, depending on the situation.
This segment brought to you by Farm Bureau, a grassroots ag organization representing the state's farmers and ranchers since 1919. KFB.org. Oldie Seed Farms, carrying soil-specific seed. Find them on the web at oldieseed.com. That's OHLDE seed.com. Grass and Grain, online or in the mail, keeping Kansas farmers informed for over 60 years. grassandgrain.com. Kansas Wheat Commission, leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Spring is sprung, and Premier Farm & Home has what you need to keep your yard crabgrass free throughout the season. With a complete line of pre-emergents, you can stop crabgrass before it starts. Premier Farm & Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
The producer-funded Kansas Wheat Innovation Center was built to get improved varieties into the hands of farmers faster. Kansas Wheat, farmers advancing their future through wheat genetics research.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business, providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Imagine having someone help you pick the best corn hybrids for every field on your farm. Your Oldie representative can combine your data with his data to offer a field-by-field prescription. Contact Oldie Seed today at 877-692-4555.
I will take action against herbicide-resistant weeds. I will know my weeds, and I will stop them before they go to seed. I will do whatever it takes to give my crops the upper hand, and I will use multiple herbicide sites of action because every action counts. I will take action, this time for all time.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.
Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture, represents grassroots agriculture. The state's largest and most powerful farm organization stands up for its members through leadership development, agriculture education, legal defense, environmental advocacy, farm safety, and risk management. Members also enjoy money-saving benefits. To join our organization today or to learn more, go to www.kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Spring is sprung, and Premier Farm & Home has what you need to keep your yard crabgrass free throughout the season. With a complete line of pre-emergents, you can stop crabgrass before it starts. Premier Farm & Home, 900 Southwest University Boulevard, or find them on the web at heycow.com.
The first sale of fed cattle on a new online exchange took place May 25th. Superior Livestock is offering the new platform, which allows buyers to procure market-ready cattle from commercial feed yards using an automated electronic method. The exchange website at fedcattleexchange.com matches buyers and sellers. Feed yards must enter show lists no later than 3 p.m. Thursday for the next week's sale. Show lists then are made available to potential buyers at 8 a.m. Central each Friday. Cattle will be offered for sale on a pen-by-pen basis. Pens with common ownership in a specific feed yard may be grouped for sale. Buyers can manually increase a bid in 50-cent per hundredweight increments. Prospective buyers also can enter a proxy bid, allowing the exchange software to automatically increase bids by 50-cent increments until the cattle are purchased or the asking price exceeds the proxy bid. If feed yards choose to reject a sale, it must be done before the auction of the next lot has concluded, and the seller must pay a fee of $10 per head to the buyer. The goal of organizers is to increase frequency, transparency, and depth of the negotiated fed cattle trade. For more information, go to fedcattleexchange.com or call Danny Jones with Superior Livestock at 405-834-6690.
Good morning, I'm Cody Wintersheet with Paragon Ag Advisors. Volatility has been the name of the game in the grain and livestock markets through the months of April and May. Now as we head into the active summer months, expect volatility to stick around. The month of June holds a lot of information for the markets to digest. We'll begin receiving crop condition reports for the fall crops, along with planting progress. And of course, we can't forget about the monthly USDA report. And then at the end of the month, the USDA will release the planted acreage and stocks report, which historically has a big impact on the grain markets. So there is still USDA reports and plenty of critical weather that could lead to even better pricing opportunities for corn and beans down the road if we get the right mix of news. However, we're at and have been at some levels that a producer should be taking advantage of in some fashion. Unfortunately, as wheat harvest approaches, the wheat market can't seem to catch a break. For those producers with on-farm storage, you should certainly be looking at ways to capture the large amounts of carry premium that is in the deferred wheat contract months. For example, there's currently over 50 cents of premium from the harvest timeframe out to March of 2017. On the flip side, basis has been widening in a lot of areas. That's typically not a good sign to have a widening basis in the face of a depressed futures markets. Beyond all of this, June also happens to be the month that continues to garner a lot of attention in regards to the potential rate hike by the Federal Reserve, which will have an impact on the US dollar and the crude oil markets. Thank you and have a great day.
Closed captioning brought to you by
The Soybean Checkoff. Progress powered by Kansas farmers. KansasSoybeans.org.
Ag Risk Solutions. Experience, knowledge, integrity. Your crop insurance solution, Ag Risk Solutions. Kansas Wheat Commission. Leaders in the adoption of profitable innovations for wheat. Online at kswheat.com.
Kansas Beef. Celebrate beef all May during Beef Month.
Well, that's our show for today. I hope you'll join us each week for more news and information about agriculture in the state of Kansas. I'm Brian Holman, and thanks for watching.
Biodiesel made from sustainable resources is diversifying our fuel supply. This year, biodiesel will displace over 1 billion gallons of fossil fuel nationwide. It's making our economy stronger and our communities healthier. It's working here and across America. Get biodiesel going in your community. Visit americasadvancedbiofuel.com.
You need a partner that you can count on to be there for your business. Providing a depth of understanding to risk management issues so you don't have to. A knowledgeable support team located in your area, delivering products and services to make you more successful.
Here at Blue River Traders, we have the greatest selection of rustic and western furniture in Kansas.
At Blue River Traders, you can select from an inventory of rustic lodge or western furnishings. With a designer on hand, Blue River Traders will help create the look you desire.